Okay, gonna do a little monologue here for this Memorial Day weekend. Took some still snapshots of my gear, and I'm just gonna do a monologue over of things that worked well and things that didn't. I took 4 mini trips. I did not get out in the bush. It's this backyard bushcrafting and what I call around the town bushcrafting. First trip was an overnight in the yard using my cheap poly tarp. It worked well. I used the SOL Escape Bivy, 2 closed cell foam pads, piece of cardboard and a contractor bag for the ground cloth. It rained hard. I stayed completely dry. It worked well. I had a wool sweater on. I forgot to get a put a cap on, so I went in the house and got a cap. Worked real well. Another trip that I took was to a local rendezvous. So I used my haversack, went to a local rendezvous, got to talk to the people. Been reading this book, Pilgrim's Journey. The skills are the same. The gear is different. If you're going to be period authentic, of course, it requires a time commitment, and you have to be able to get into that. I'm not able to do that at this time, but I just enjoy, using the skills and making my own gear as much as possible. Tried to cook on the fire as much as possible all this weekend. Made some chicken, made some steaks, made some corn, fried up some potatoes using the stainless steel dog dish. That worked great out of the Budget Bushcraft kit. Using the charcoal grill, didn't even make a fire, but again, this is backyard bushcrafting. So that's 2 trips out to the local rendezvous. Took a canoe trip for an afternoon, tried out the hobo fishing kit. That worked really well. I was really surprised. I could cast that about 20 feet. I had to play around with the sinkers, had too much sinkers for the pencil bobber. I had some round bobbers that worked well, but that thing works pretty well. I didn't catch a fish. I was a little disappointed. I don't know if it was the bait or the time of day or whatever it was, but it was an enjoyable day out. It was hot, 95 degrees. I was not hot when I was outside. Used the real deal Brazil tarp ball cap. My bandana, just soaked that thing, put that in the crown of the cap, and that kept me cool. Dog kept cool underneath my little piece of cardboard there in the canoe. First time out in the canoe with the dog. Things worked well, really. Everything worked pretty well. Lessons learned. I mean, I was pleased with my gear. Now, I spent time in the house. I'm not saying I spent the whole 3 days out there, but I did spend time in the house. Also took a 6 mile hike with the Vesh rucksack, homemade rucksack. That worked well, 25 pounds. Of course, it's not as comfortable as a Kelty, but it's nice. Bought some of these tea blocks at the rendezvous. Those things are great. A half a teaspoon of tea makes a pint and a half of tea. So that's great. You just scrape it off with a knife. Had some beautiful scenery on my walk. Wasn't too hot, but it was pretty hot during the walk, but I don't mind the heat. Dog went with me, had plenty of water, had a good time. So 4 mini trips in the yard, things that worked well for me, just using my budget bushcraft kit.